My dad had also worked in Silicon Valley, and so one day he called me and he was like, I know what you're going to do with your life. And I was like, Dad, I'm trying to sleep. And he was like, big data. I was like, excuse me? But I've also just been fulfilling that prophecy, I guess.
And loving it, too.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a very casual, we'll kind of go over like your experience at Michigan and then kind of what you've been doing in the past couple of years since you graduated. But we can start off with some introductions. So I'm Celia. I'm a rising senior in IOE. I have loved being the part of the College of Engineering, specifically through Phi Sigma Rho, engineering sorority, as well as through an elementary engineering partnerships, which is like an organization that teaches elementary students about engineering. But I'm very excited to hear kind of like your perspective and your opinion on how college influenced those moves for you. So if you just want to introduce yourself a little bit, and then we can move into like some questions.
So my name is Allie Cell. I was a 2018 graduate in data science engineering, and so like one of the first classes in data science engineering, and I currently work at Shift in data science. My title is data analyst right now. And we buy and sell used cars, which I think is like actually really interesting. I'm sure we'll talk about that later. And when I was at Michigan, I was also really involved in Phi Sigma Rho, an engineering sorority, the Michigan data science team, the club running team, MRUN, and then I also did a multidisciplinary design program.
Can you describe a little bit more what the company does and then what your role there is?
Yeah. So we buy and sell used cars, and so what that looks like is that people who want to sell their car will like input information about their car online, and then we'll provide an instant price for them. And so that's our biggest use case for machine learning at our company. And it's pretty hard to do and interesting because every single used car is unique, whether it's different mileage or different features. And also people don't buy or sell used cars that often. And so data for it is a little bit sparse compared to some other fields of data science. And then one of the biggest projects that I've worked on is looking at where Shift historically has cleared similar cars to know how to like pay sellers more for that car if it's more desirable, or pay them less if we've had trouble selling similar cars before. I also am in like a meeting with like the CEO and COO like every Wednesday, which is where I do a lot of analytics about like should we be offering sellers more money or not enough cars? Like, are we acquiring enough cars? Are we selling enough cars? Should we be lowering our list prices online? Asking a lot of those questions. So it's been super interesting.
What are kind of the aspects of your job that are your favorite versus your least favorite kind of tasks or things to do? Or
yeah, I think least favorite would be that, especially working at a startup, it's not always clear how data science is supposed to interact with other like project teams or engineering teams. And so we're not always like involved in each steps of planning each project. And then my favorite part, being able to work at a small company and not only like work on and like lead machine learning projects with like a year of experience, but also be able to like scope them out and identify use cases from working in the sphere and being like the domain area expert has been super cool. And like I am really, really lucky to have that experience.
Do you have any kind of general advice or pro tips or like guidance for students that maybe like are thinking about studying data science or choosing engineering in general?
I love data science, so I would recommend it. I think I liked the idea of computer science, but I never felt like I would be the best at coding. And like now I know after being in industry, like, okay, that's not everything that majoring in computer science is. And like software engineers do some things that aren't just coding. But I do feel like I really get to like utilize more skill sets. And I think that really suits me very well.
What makes you love data science? Why do you love data science so much?
I think it started a little bit with like when there was like a survey phase where everybody would send out like quizzes when I was in middle school, and I was like so into that, and I would like send out quizzes, and I would always try to like make sense of the results, even though I had like 5 friends, so there was nothing significant, and so I kind of don't know how to describe it, but and I think like mapping is cool, like visualization is cool, like solving really hard problems that are complex is really cool, and like having the technical skills to do that. So I think there are a lot of different aspects that one could love, but I don't know how to explain why I do, maybe.
You feel like this was the right path for you. This is fulfilling you, you're satisfied with your experience through college and your career. If you had to change anything, would you, or would you leave it the way that it was?
In college, I definitely didn't really prioritize classes over like my extracurricular involvement, which had some impacts that were good and some that were bad to my GPA and whatnot. And so maybe trying to like balance that better would have been good if I would have done it, but I am lucky to be where I am now. I think like the Michigan data science team was definitely my most like helpful professionally experience at Michigan. But
why is that?
Wow. I had a little bit of experience in like data analysis through an internship after my sophomore year, but going into my junior year, I'd been majoring in data science for like a year and a half, but without actually any like really big data science projects. And I made my own little I learned how to like map data basically at my internship, and so I took that and made my own little mapping off-campus housing prices at Michigan because I loved housing. I was housing chair for our sorority, and I also really liked visualizing data. And so when I went into this intro meeting for the Michigan data science team, I was pretty intimidated because over half of the people were grad students. They were like, oh, if you've done a data science project or something, then you should be able to actually ready to go with us and do other data science projects. And I was like, oh, nice. I just got that little one in. And so then I went on to lead a project working with the city of Detroit and predicting blight compliance. And I first authored a paper and led a team there and presented at a few different panels and stuff at Michigan and beyond. But I think one of the coolest things I learned there is that just because you can build a model that predicts something really well doesn't that's definitely not all of what data science is, because we built this model that's pretty good, but especially in terms of how a city, what models are useful for the city of Detroit, we predicted people who wouldn't pay fines, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to give fines to everybody, or and I think trying to think of how being really thinking through the use cases for any modeling is just as important as the modeling, actually more important. So I don't know, that was one experience on the Michigan data science team. We also did Kaggle competitions, which is a whole competitive sphere of the data science community, and yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of good stuff there.
Are there any other experiences you had in your undergraduate career that you feel helped inform either positively or negatively where you are now?
I think just being able to have a major that was data science engineering was super helpful, because especially when I go to events out here, a lot of them are for people transitioning into data science, or women transitioning into data science after being in a different career, and that is really hard to do without either a master's in it. So they have all of these masters in data science programs, or real project experience, and so which is hard to get if you're working full-time on a different job. And so having the name data science on the resume definitely is really helpful.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being willing to share all your experiences and go into detail about what you're doing now. And it's really awesome to see you also.
Yeah, you too. No problem.